In a dimly lit apartment nestled deep within the noise of the city, we meet Daniel Mensah, a 38-year-old father of two and a once-celebrated architect who has lost everything: his job, his home, his savings, and nearly his faith. His wife left 2 years ago when the business failed. His children now live with his sister. His phone doesn't ring anymore. Hope is an echo he barely remembers. Daniel used to be the man everyone called when they needed answers. Now he's the one looking at the ceiling, wondering if heaven is still listening. He walks 5 miles each day looking for work, and every evening he returns with the same empty hands. He has prayed. He has fasted. He has cried. But the silence is loud. One evening, Daniel stands on the edge of a bridge, overwhelmed by shame and failure. And just as he's about to give up completely, he hears a whisper, not loud, not dramatic, but undeniable. Don't give up. The breakthrough is coming. He stumbles back in tears, not because of what he heard, but because of who he knew was still listening. The next morning, Daniel doesn't wake up with a miracle. The bills are still there. The hunger is still real. But something has shifted. He chooses to hope again. Daniel begins to write. Each morning, before he leaves to job hunt, he writes prayers and reflections in a notebook, a journal of pain, perseverance, and praise. He decides to document the valley, not just the mountaintop. Weeks pass. Still no job. But the writing helps. He even begins reading scripture out loud, especially the story of Joseph. Betrayed, abandoned, falsely accused, and imprisoned, but eventually promoted. Daniel whispers, "If Joseph didn't give up in prison, I won't give up in poverty." One afternoon, after a brutal rejection at yet another interview, he sits under a tree and cries. An elderly woman walks by and simply says, "God is not done." Sometimes, the darkest hour is just before the dawn. He writes that down. Something about it feels sacred. It's now been 4 months since Daniel heard that whisper on the bridge. 4 months of nothing but struggle. But then something unexpected happens. A local pastor visits the soup kitchen Daniel eats at. He shares a message titled, "Don't Quit at Chapter 11. God is still writing your story." The message cuts deep. That night, Daniel takes out his notebook and writes, "God, if you're still writing my story, then give me the strength to turn the next page." That same week, Daniel finds a flyer on the street about a community renovation project. They need volunteers. It's unpaid, but it involves architecture and design. He shows up. He becomes the most consistent and reliable volunteer. People start to notice his designs, his leadership, his kindness. They don't know his story, but they feel his spirit. And slowly, favor begins to find him. Three months into the volunteer work, a visiting consultant from a global architecture firm arrives at the project site. She is impressed by Daniel's sketches on the wall. She asks to meet him. They talk for an hour. She's amazed. She hands him a business card. "We're expanding our team. I don't make promises, but send me your portfolio." Daniel is stunned. He runs home and puts together everything he has: old blueprints, new sketches, prayer notes, everything. He sends it in. Then, silence. A week passes. 2, 3, nothing. But Daniel has changed. He's no longer fragile in the waiting. He's found faith in the silence. He no longer doubts whether God is listening. He just doesn't know what God is planning. Then, the call comes. Daniel Mensah, the voice says, "We'd like to offer you a position as senior architect. Full relocation package, 6 figures, benefits, the works." Daniel collapses in tears. Not because of the salary, but because he didn't give up. That same week, he visits the bridge, the one he almost ended it all on. He stands there, notebook in hand, and reads from his first entry. "Everything around me says no. But I believe, one day, God will say yes. And he did. Dear listener, how many times have you stood on your own bridge? That quiet moment where you wondered if it's even worth trying again? Maybe you've prayed and nothing changed. Maybe the rejection broke you. Maybe you feel like the promise is never coming. But hear this, don't give up before your miracle. The silence doesn't mean abandonment. The delay doesn't mean denial. God is not ignoring you, He's preparing you. Breakthrough isn't just about the blessing. It's about becoming the person who can carry it. Sometimes, the miracle is waiting, just after the next no. Just past the darkest night. Just beyond your breaking point. If Daniel had given up on the bridge, he would have missed the blessing. So don't quit now. Don't walk away. You're closer than you think. Your breakthrough is coming. If this story touched your heart, I want you to remember this. God has not forgotten you. He sees every tear, every silent prayer, and every moment you've wanted to quit. Just like Daniel, your breakthrough might come in the very hour you feel like giving up. So hold on. Keep the faith. Your miracle is on the way. Tell us in the comments, what are you believing God for? Let's lift each other up. If this gave you hope, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because someone you know might need this reminder too. Hit the bell so you never miss another story that feeds your soul.